Hi everyone, our project is about lead poisoning and California condors, presented by Maximus Smith, me, Hudson Posen, and Jack Koss. So the condor is one of the rarest birds in North America with a wingspan of almost 10 feet. They used to soar across the continent, but today they're still critically endangered. Scientists and wildlife experts have worked for decades to bring the species back, but there's one problem that keeps holding them back: lead poisoning. In this presentation, we'll explain what lead poisoning is, how condors are exposed to it, and how it affects their survival. So what exactly is lead poisoning? Lead is a toxic metal that can build up inside the body over time. It doesn't break down or leave easily, which means that even tiny amounts can be dangerous. When lead gets into the bloodstream, it attacks the nervous system and major organs like the brain and liver. In people, this can cause headaches, weakness, or developmental problems, and in animals, like condors, the effects are just as serious. It can lead to paralysis, confusion, and eventually death. What's scary is that condors don't even realize they're eating it. So how are condors exposed? Condors don't hunt, they're scavengers. That means they feed on carcasses of animals that have already died. The problem is, when hunters shoot animals using lead bullets, tiny metal fragments scatter inside the meat. Even if the hunter takes the main part of the animal, small pieces of lead are left behind in the remains. When condors come across those carcasses, they eat the contaminated meat, and the lead goes straight into their digestive system and bloodstream. Biologists have taken x-rays of deer carcasses and found dozens of lead fragments still inside. For condors, just 1 or 2 pieces are enough to poison them. So what are the effects of lead on condors? Once the lead is in their system, the result is devastating. It damages their brain and nerves, which causes weakness, muscle tremors, and trouble flying. They can't digest food properly, and eventually they become too sick to survive. Wildlife teams actually have to catch wild condors every year just to test their blood and remove the lead using a treatment called gelatin therapy, basically a metal detox. This constant cycle makes it almost impossible for the species to recover naturally. Even though conservation efforts have helped bring condors back from the brink of extinction, lead poisoning continues to be the #1 threat to their survival. Next, we'll look at the possible solutions and how people are working to protect condors from this ongoing problem.
Hi, my name is Jack Koss, and I'm starting off with the background on the California condor. Condors are ancient scavengers. Another word that you could also call a condor is a biological anachronism. This means that they are a living remnant from a past time, and in this case, the past time is the Pleistocene era, which is where most of their food that they evolved to eat is from, such as mammoths, giant sloths, dire wolves, bison, woolly rhinoceros. Most of these larger animals that used to roam North America is what they would use to feed on. Now, because those animals no longer exist, they have switched to eating deer, livestock, and they have been documented eating ocean animals like seals, dolphins, whales, and other large ocean wash-ups on beaches in California. Their main threat that they face, and what's the main idea of this slideshow, is lead poisoning. They also are at risk because of habitat loss, such as in Los Angeles. Pollution also, and slow reproduction rate doesn't help. The first solution to stop lead poisoning for condors is switching the bullet, because most of the condors ingest the lead from eating carcasses that have been shot with lead bullets. As you can see here, the lead bullet on the right has so much more fragmentation than the copper bullet, and this fragmentation basically means that whenever an animal is hit with that bullet, it shoots all that lead into it, and the lead can also leach, contaminating most of the body. Even if a condor could tell if there was lead in a carcass, it would be very difficult to avoid it. Whereas the copper bullet doesn't really fragment, it deforms. For solution 2, which is education and outreach, there's many programs that help teach hunters about how they can make a difference and support not only the condors but other wildlife that may eat their lost game or parts of the game that they left. And so they encourage people to stop using lead ammo. They remind people, if they do use lead ammo to take out the whole carcass, don't just leave parts of it. And they also try not to blame hunters for anything. They try to work with them. Step 3, or solution 3, lead cleanup and laws. Condors in Arizona and California both get tested at least yearly for lead levels in their blood, and if those levels are exceeding the healthy threshold, they are taken in to a lab or medical center and they are treated for it. So that means blood transfusions and anti-lead compounds and anything that they can do to lower the lead content in the animal to get it to a safer level. California, in action to stop it before it even needs to get to that level, has banned lead bullets, but this is really hard to enforce because you're not going to go to someone and ask them, like, what metal are you using, and then test that metal. And it's also really easy for hunters, if they prefer lead, to get it from neighboring states, because Arizona hasn't banned it and neither has surrounding states nearby.
Organizations like the Paragene Fund have seen major success breeding condors in captivity, with their population growing from only 22 in 1982 to over 500 in 2025. Other organizations like the Arizona Fish and Game Department and the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources have also used voluntary policies discouraging lead bullets. And from 2012 to 2016, over 88% of hunters followed these recommendations. Thanks to these efforts, the California condor population has increased 20-fold since 1982. While these programs show success, the problem still exists. According to the National Parks Conservation Association, even with a California law banning lead bullets, 88% of condors still showed lead poisoning, and 20% required assistance. Another limitation is that these laws only apply to certain regions. So when condors leave non-lead restricted areas, they are immediately exposed again, making it harder for them to expand their territory. Condors are scavengers. They eat dead and decomposing animal matter. This matter breeds disease, so by eating it, condors protect other animals and help plants by cycling nutrients back into the soil. They are also indicator species because of their sensitivity to toxins, their longevity, and their slow reproduction. The well-being of the condor reflects the well-being of other organisms and the ecosystem as a whole. While condors provide valuable services and their population is recovering, there are limits to how much the species can thrive, at least for now. Even with restrictions, condors are still exposed to lead. They also rely on constant human intervention and help to recover and to avoid extinction. This takes time and resources from other goals, and because they reproduce so slowly, conservation efforts are even harder to maintain. Through awareness, effort, and persistence, the population of the California condor has significantly improved over the past 43 years. Now, awareness has spread and governments have acknowledged the issue and taken it seriously. Breeding and release efforts are at a very high level, as a record 17 condor eggs were hatched at the LA Zoo last year. If these efforts persist, the future for the California condor looks bright. To conclude, over the years, the California condor has gone from being nearly extinct to over 500 birds, both in captivity and in the wild. This recovery shows what can be done when people work together towards a common goal. This improvement is amazing, but the fight is not over. If efforts continue and increase, then a hopeful future for the condors is ensured. Thank you for listening.